Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Ira Bowman and I am here for this episode of Ask Ira, Job Seekers Q&A. Look, this is your shot. If you have a question about pretty much anything job search related, I'm here to help you. I'm excited. I have in the green room my friend Bianca. I probably butchered that. Sorry. I'm still struggling with that name. I got it right once, so I had a false sense of confidence. Anyways, she'll be on in just a second. She's coming to us from Slovenia, so we're going to get a little of the European flavor because sometimes things are different. You have to pay attention if you're a job seeker to the regional rules. For example, when to use a photograph in the CV or the resume is determined based on your region. In India, for example, you need to include your photograph. In the United States, if you put it in, it will cause problems with the ATS. So you do need to understand the different rules and the regional preferences is probably the best way to say it. But anyways, we'll talk about that a little bit. If you have a question already about the ATS, about your resume, about your cover letter, maybe you need some help with interview prep, maybe you want to know about how to do some research on their culture, whatever it is that you're looking for, if you already have the question, go ahead and put those in the comments. If you put one in now, I guarantee you we will get to it before the end of the show. The show does last an hour. However, in the beginning, let's do this roll call. Where are you coming to us from? Let's do roll call. I am coming to you from Los Angeles, California. So you tell me where you're from. We'll get those in the comments, and I am going to bring up, well, you are in the right place, my friend. As I'm doing that, I'm going to bring in my guest. Hello.
Hi. Hello.
Biana, not Bianca, Biana.
Biljana.
Got it. I threw in a cuh because I needed some coffee. It's early here now. This is what's funny. It's the end of your work day. Well, it's Saturday, so it's not really a work day, but right? It's at 6 p.m. there?
6 p.m., right.
Yeah, so it's 6 p.m. So you've had your day. Now It's relaxing evening, and I'm honestly, I rolled out of bed about 25 minutes ago, so I stayed up too late last night.
I have tea, so
there you go. All right. So as we're getting started, you've been a part of the show before from the comment section, so you know what's going on. So I'm not going to explain it to you, but to the audience as a whole. I do this show 2 times a week. I do it on Mondays and I do it on Saturdays. Saturdays tends to be the busier day, which is what I expected when I launched the series. I know that there are people out there that have something they're doing. It may not be what they want to do, but it's something to, like a bridge job.
Okay.
So they can't necessarily get on a show on Monday and ask questions. So that's why I originally was going to just do it on a Saturday. But then I thought, well, there are some people that they're job seekers. They take the weekend off. And so Monday's like their heavy day for, getting stuff together in order. And I thought, well, let me help them on a Monday too. And so I do the show both days a week. Now, they are at different times. This one's more European friendly, right?
Yeah.
Because it comes on at 9 a.m. my time, 6 p.m. your time. That's that's noon Eastern. So you can time adjust wherever you are. So like right now it's 9:30 in India. Okay. So it works pretty much good for everywhere. Excuse me. The one on Monday is a little bit not friendly for India and the UK because I start at noon my time, which is 9 o'clock, I think, for you, right? So it's later and it's 12:30 in the morning in India. So it's definitely not friendly for them. But
it's still fine.
But it also helps me pick up the Australia time because it's it's early there. It's 6 a.m. there right now, and it's 6 a.m. in Hawaii. Anyways, I'm getting my times mixed up a little bit, but I think it's so there's different parts of the world, and so I try to accommodate everybody. Anyways,
You're nice.
as you'll see from these, look, he's from India. He's made a lot of comments here. I don't know how to say his name, and I don't want to butcher it. From India, there we go. So he's got 12 years experience, and he's an engineer, so that's cool. So we could talk to him about that, what his struggle is. We've got Penny coming to us from
Hi, Penny.
He's been on the show, her. We've got my buddy Damon. He's actually one of the co-founders of Exit Your Way. If I back this thing up a little bit, you can see that that logo over my right. On the camera it's my right shoulder, but it's actually over my left. It's a virtual background, but anyways, he's there, part of Exit Your Way. He's coming to us from Seattle. What else we got here? We got a bunch of people. Oh, Germany. We got a fellow Europeaner here, Karina.
Hi, London.
We got Jacksonville, Florida in the house. We've got Nigeria. So right now we're carrying 32, 33 people on LinkedIn. I haven't checked. We're coming to you live. I simulcast this on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Now, most of the comments come to us from LinkedIn because obviously that's where the job search related field is. So let's start. We've already got questions in the works today. So I'm going to go. Guys, I try to do it first in, first out. So FIFO, right? If you're familiar with that acronym, the FIFO. So the first question that we've got here, it looks like, oh, we got a good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Is this a question? Oh, no, it's just somebody trying to spam my show. Whoever you are, if you do that again, I'm going to block you from my network. So stop that. That's not what this show is about. This show is about job seekers looking for work. What certification you refer for an MBA finance? I actually don't even understand that question. If you have an MBA, I mean, you've answered the question in your you've answered the question in the question. You need an MBA for an MBA. It's probably English is not the first language issue here, which you understand that in Europe way better than in the United States, right? But so there's probably a different question. I'm gonna guess it's Dilip, is how you pronounce that. But if you want to try to rephrase the question, maybe. But an MBA in finance is a degree, right? So you've gone to college, you've got your master's of business association or business arts, depending on what they call it. But in either which way, you've got a master's degree. So, maybe he's asking what complementary certifications would be required. I'll tell you a clue. Here's a clue how you can figure out for any job what certifications, what extra things you might want. Start reading the job descriptions, and inside the job descriptions, it'll start saying maybe not required, but preferred. And if you see that in the list, then those are the ones you definitely know you can start. And you can also do, you're familiar with informational interviews, right?
Yes.
So informational interviews is something that I love to do. So what you do is you go, okay, I want to be, let's use finance. I want to be a director of finance for a bank or whatever. Okay.
Yes.
You find somebody who has that title or who has had that title. Maybe they're above that already, right? Now, maybe they're the president of the bank, but that's what they said, right? So you find somebody who's at that level or higher, and you interview them. You ask them questions, and you have a conversation with them. You ask them questions. That's one of the questions you would ask. Hey, what certifications? What extra stuff should I do to make myself look good and qualified for this role, right? I think that's maybe after talking about it, maybe that's what he was getting after. So anything to add as I go, feel free. I'm just scrolling to the next question.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that would be like the best topic. I was just preparing a lady yesterday. She has a PhD. I don't know if you are familiar with this. I believe you are. But Wall Street Journal has also put this article out, and it's something I already know and I'm already sure of.
Mhm.
Only, 80% of jobs are not listed jobs.
Right.
So only 20% of jobs are actually listed. So people go the other way around. You need to be extremely proactive. You need to start doing informational interviews.
Yeah.
Start searching, start connecting. That's why LinkedIn is the most amazing platform ever.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
it's
that's
not,
right.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, you know this. I have Follow Me Friday every week. It's
yeah,
the largest. Look, if you're not familiar with Follow Me Friday, you guys as job seekers need to get on it and get on it right now. In fact, I mean, I just had one yesterday. You can go to that post and jump on it.
yes,
But here's what it is. I'll be honest, talking about is a lot of jobs are not advertised
yes,
through a job board. Job boards are basically a giant graveyard. I mean, it really is almost a waste of time,
yeah,
right? Many people don't even utilize job boards to list their jobs or to try to find a job because it's not the most effective use of time. When I created Project Help You Grow, the website, I almost didn't include, I was heavily leaning towards not including any job listings at all. I did it for one reason. And I'm gonna be completely transparent here. I did it because I knew some job seekers would only come if I did have job listings. It's not the it's not even the third most important thing I do on my website. The very
fair
most
enough.
the very most important thing I do on the website is I give people the blog and I give people the podcast, which gives them information like you're getting from me and Biana right now. This
Yeah,
is the type of information I just wrote. In fact, I'm going to pull it up. So bear with me for just a second. But I wrote a blog on, I want to say Thursday, but it might have been Wednesday. I don't know. I get my days kind of mixed up here because they all run together. But I wrote a blog on the cover letter because I get
yeah,
questions about the cover letter all the time. And the cover letter is super important. And you and I can talk about this during the show, of course.
yeah,
So I wrote I wrote an article on the cover letter. And what I did is, so everybody, they want a cover letter template. That's what they want.
yeah.
But actually, I'm just going to play this real quick because it's only like 45 seconds. Hello, everybody. It's Ira Bowman, founder of Project Help You Grow, coming to you today to talk to you about cover letters and the strategy that you want to use to attack that cover letter each and every time. I don't recommend you use a template. I recommend you use a formula to build your individual cover letters for each and every job listing. What's the formula? Comes to you in 4 parts. First part is the introduction. Second part, we're going to talk about the company and why you want to work for that company. Third, we're going to talk about the role itself and how you would fit it with keyword matching in mind. And fourth, and probably the most important, frankly, in the conclusion, we're going to ask for the interview. Now, to read the article, I want you to go to projecthelpyougrow.com blog. I will actually link the article in the description of this video. Okay, what's funny is I actually put that blog or that video in the blog itself in the article. But the whole point of this is it's like they want to take like a boilerplate and just swap out the company name and the title. And I'm like, no, you can't do it
No,
because it's not going to work, right?
no,
So instead, I wrote this article and I gave them examples. I talk about I want a cover letter. Now you might have a different preference, so I'd love to talk about this with you.
yeah,
My preference for cover letters, basically 4 paragraphs, maybe 5. You might want to bleed one of these sections into 2 paragraphs, but basically a 4 or 5 paragraph letter, short and sweet, high
yeah,
impact, because you're telling them or you're expressing interest in your greeting, telling them why you want to work for the company. I give an example of how to do it. Then section 3, talk about why you or how you would specifically fill that role. And this is where you definitely want to infuse the keywords from the listing. So I
yeah,
actually wrote, this is just off the top of my head. I wrote a quick little job description, and then I show you how I usurp the words from the job description that are applicable to my experience. If you actually go through my personal LinkedIn profile, you'll see that I actually have all this stuff. I didn't make this up. I fabricated this job description, but I actually used my real personal experience, work history to answer it.
Yeah.
And then for the conclusion, the number one thing that I think people are missing with cover letters, they're not actually asking for the interview, which I find hilarious because that's the only reason you're writing it, because you want to get interviewed. So really, the keyword matching in the cover letter is super important. But if you're not asking for the interview, you're making a huge mistake. You need to like end on that crescendo of, hey, let's get together. So after I go through it all, I actually show them the whole letter put together. Like, this is from dear hiring manager, human resources recruiter. Address it to whoever it's going to, right?
Yes. Yes.
But then, there's, as you can see, it's just 4 paragraphs. 2 or 3 sentences for the intro, 2 or 3 sentences for the out, right? The conclusion, and
Yes.
the meat is on, why you want to work for the company and how you would fill the role. I mean, that's really the meat of it. So I think this will help a lot of people, but it's not exactly the answer that they want, right? Because what do they really want? They want me to do all the work for them. They want you to do all the work for them. I mean, that's really what it boils down to in a lot of cases, is people are asking for that. Now, do you have Staples, the company over in the UK? I don't know if you guys have it over there, but over here, there's this company. They sell office supplies like pens and paper.
Yes. We have that. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have a commercial. They call it the easy button. You hit this button, and then you're supposed to go, that was easy. And that's what people want from the job experience. Like, I sometimes wonder if people want me to go to work for them and send them the paycheck. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, guys. This is your job. Your job, if you don't have a job, is to find a job, and you got to work. You got to work. It's called work. It's not, it's not a rub a genie lamp, or, I tell people all the time. I get reviews on Project Help You Grow. Sometimes people give me like a 2-star review or a 3-star review, and I'll read it because, look, I really want to make sure that people are getting the most out of my website. So I read all the reviews. I read them. But a lot of them, they're frustrated with the job search, not with my website. And I'm like, I wish you guys would be able to understand and separate the two, because they're different. Project Help You Grow I don't promise anybody they're going to find a job. I never make that claim. I will help people in their job search, mainly, like I said, with the blog and the podcast, and giving you information that, if you learn it and apply it, will make your job search easier and better. And statistically, I'll help you find a job faster, right? But I'm not a coach. I'm not a headhunter. I'm not hiring people. So I don't make those claims. And so
you cannot guarantee anything to anyone.
Right.
Unless you're a hiring manager and you can guarantee, I will hire you.
Yeah.
Anything else,
I'm giving people information that statistically works better in the job market, right? And I do a lot of research. I interview people like you. I have a lot of guests that come on my shows and my podcasts. And actually, speaking of that, we still need to do that podcast episode too. So we'll have to get on that. But anyways,
of course.
Let's get back to answering questions. We have another one, I think, is a question. I'm going to read it. It's kind of long. Let's see. I'm looking forward to the move to the USA. Open software field. Okay, this isn't a question. This is somebody saying they want to move. Okay, they have a B1, B2 visa already, so that's good. That's half the battle. In fact, that's more than half the battle. So now somebody has a B1, B2 visa already. Okay, what do you suggest? I can dominate these answers, so I'm gonna let you talk. So, advice for somebody with B1, B2. That's not H1 now, so there is a difference there. And I tell people straight away, I'm not a lawyer, so this is just advice from a common man, not, you know what I mean? I'm not an immigration lawyer, but what advice would you give?
I don't do those type of, because I'm not a USA citizen, so I don't do those type of counselings.
No problem. Let me give the advice that I give. Okay. If you want to work in a foreign field, I don't care if it's USA or maybe there's a lot of people actually in the United States that are unhappy here. They want to go somewhere else. It's funny. Everybody seems to want to move somewhere else, like it's going to be magically better. And
No, yeah.
what's really funny, Viana, is a lot of times they've never even been to the place that they want to move to.
To
You know
move,
what I
yeah.
mean? It's like it's an escape from where they are as opposed to a strong desire. And I think that mentality is hard to sell, and they don't understand when you're in the interview process, you are selling yourself as a solution to the problem that the company has for which they're hiring. In other words, they're not just hiring because they want to pay people money. They
Yeah.
actually have an issue that they need to resolve. And if you're going to get the job, you need to show them that you can resolve that issue. So if
Yes.
your only desire, if your main desire is to escape where you
The
are,
country, yes.
you're
It's not
not
enough. Yeah.
you're not going to come off as impressive. And I think that's the number one issue that people have in these interviews. They come across desperate, and not for the not in a good way. Like sometimes I'm going to use love as an analogy.
Okay.
You look at somebody from across the room. It's love at first sight, and I'm going to use love in quotations because that's actually lust, not love, right? Infatuation, not love, because you don't know anything about them. You just
Yes.
you're attracted to the way they look. I mean,
Yes.
that's what that really is. That's not love. That's
Yeah.
it's really lust or infatuation, if you will. But anyways, you love. Now, there's a desperation there sometimes, right? But it's at least based on something about that person, in this case their physical appearance. And the person can be motivated and will go a lot of times way over the top, to show affection or to, they'll be creative. So
Yes.
for the job seeker out there who's like that, who goes, I'm going to use a major company, let's say Coca-Cola. I want to go to work for Coca-Cola. I'm infatuated with Coca-Cola. I don't really know anything about it. I just know it's got the pretty red logo and they make soda and they're global. And so
Yeah.
I'm in love with the idea in my mind. I want to go work for Coke. Now, what I would do is I would learn everything I could about Coke. I would study them. I would
Yeah.
get to know people in that company. I would try to network with people who do business with Coke. I mean, as much as I can, study their
Yeah.
competition. That's what I would do. Now, the thing that I'm recommending people do now because of COVID is try to find a job locally with that company. And then later, 6 months in, a year in, maybe even 2 years in, start to work on working with your HR team internally about a promotion or a
Yes.
transfer to the country that you want to go to. But I would strongly advise that people start learning about the country, join networking groups from the country and from the industry in that country, and visit the country,
First visit.
but not as a vacation person.
Yes.
Another thing, because sometimes people have vacationed in an area. I'm going to go to Europe one day, Lord willing, right? And I would love to come to Slovenia, right?
Welcome.
But if I come there, do you think that my visit is going to emulate your everyday life?
No.
I'm going to be staying at a hotel. I'm going to be eating at restaurants. I'm not going to have to deal with the commute. I'm not going to have to pay any local taxes. All the stuff that gets frustrating about an area, I'm not even going to do it. You know what I mean? I'll be there physically, again, Lord willing, but it's not when you go to visit a place for work to explore work opportunities, you really should try to do like an Airbnb, like rent a house or an apartment or something, not stay in a hotel. You should not eat food from a restaurant or the hotel. You should go to the store and buy groceries. You should get out on the freeways at rush hour or get on the commuter train. I know in Europe you guys do a lot more of mass transit. In the
Yes,
United,
because it's very approachable. Yeah.
yeah, and in the United States, I mean, we all pretty much drive, right? With the
Yeah.
exception of a few cities that,
Yeah.
like New York City, but like LA, we're so spread out, we're all in our cars.
Yeah,
And
I know.
it could take 3 hours to go 15 miles.
Oh my God.
Right. I mean, I'm telling you to go, what is that? Like 27 kilometers. It would take
Yeah,
you
I understand, Miles. Yeah.
yeah, 3 hours You know what I mean?
No,
That's one
you
way.
could walk.
You could walk. You absolutely could. And a lot of times I've thought about that. I'm like, I could actually walk faster than I, anyways, or jog at least. But anyways, so what I'm saying is, if you're gonna truly go there to explore, living and working there, you need to go there, plan your whole trip as much as you can, like you would if you were working there, and then you'll see, like, oh, it's actually it's not as rosy as I've fantasized, because that's what it is. I think people need to get out of the fantasy.
If I can add here, I'm currently coaching a young man from India. I'm very affectionate to India, actually. He's a great developer. He works in Delhi, and he's actually working for for American company. And he's very into coming into Europe, and he knows that Slovenia is in Europe, is in Schengen, and so on. He wants to come to Slovenia, and I'm speaking with him, and I'm telling him what's the Slovenian growth and so on, and I'm telling him what is Slovenian real, what we earn, what's our cost of living and everything, and he's in shock, and he's like, it's European Union. I'm like, well, but we have countries like USA has, it's not entire USA is not the same,
Right.
I mean, it's not, everything is not LA, and he's like, oh, I have to think about it. And I'm like, I believe you do, because it's not the same pay as you're getting currently in the American in the American field, and you live in India, so it's completely different. You will
I
not get.
want to talk about that for a second.
Mhm.
I've lived and worked in several parts of the United States, and so
Mhm.
our states can vary, even our cities can vary greatly,
Of
right? So
course.
there's parts of California where you can make a significantly less amount of money, but actually have net income more because of the reduced cost of living, and that's part of what you're talking about here. So
Yes.
there's the costs to live in a place. There's also the quality of life, which would be the traffic that we were
Yes.
talking about. The smog that people don't think about with LA is insane. We love the wind out here because it blows all our smog away for the day, but trust me, most of the time it's really bad air quality. And then, of course, there's like the land and all the different things, like, how much land you get with your house, or can you even buy a house? Do you have to be in a condo, an apartment, or something like that? There's and then the regulations, which I just don't even really want to get into, because
Yeah.
laws. We never met a tax in California we don't like, and we love to regulate ourselves to death. I mean, California loves to penalize everything, and we like to charge ourselves taxes. I don't understand it, but we do. So it is what it is. But I've lived in other parts, like I've lived in Texas, I've lived in Nevada, which is right next door. I've lived in Ohio, I've lived in Utah, I've lived in several places. I'm gonna tell you, when I was a younger man, like 20 years ago, younger, I worked for a company in Cincinnati, Ohio,
Okay.
and I made about one third of what I made at my last job in income.
Okay.
But I owned a home, I owned my car,
Yeah.
I was able to buy all my groceries. I think I had more money left over at the end of every paycheck after paying the bills and expenses than I did here in California, making significant, like I said, two-thirds more. So,
Exactly.
I think my salary in Cincinnati, if I remember right, was $36,000 a year, and then I was making commission, so I was making roughly, let's say, 47,000 a year, less than 50. Anyways, out here in California, making 120, 130 a year, with less money left over because of, well, just as one example, my power bill was $900.
Oh my gosh.
That's more than I was paying for the home in Cincinnati. And I think my power bill out there was like $250 or something. Anyways.
Like mine.
Right. So let's go back to this question right here. Is
Okay.
it possible to work remotely in the US from another country without having US work right? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. This is one of the major advantages of, I'm going to use a word that a lot of people don't understand, paradigm shift. Okay? The paradigm shift means the way things used to be are different than the way things are now. And the paradigm shift is, and you and I can talk about this. This is, to me, fascinating about COVID. Pre-COVID, most people in most places were not working remotely. They were working physically at a location. The myth was that we couldn't work remotely. We wouldn't be able to keep up with the job. We wouldn't be able to stay on task. We wouldn't be as productive as a
I just
work.
wanted to say, yeah.
Yeah, as a workforce. That was the prevailing predominant line of thinking, because people would goof off at the house. They wouldn't get dressed. They'd goof around with their kids. They'd watch Netflix or whatever,
Yeah.
Right. So anyways, that was the predominating prevailing line of thinking. Now we've proven that to not be true.
Yes.
And the things that the workers probably didn't think about was, hey, I don't have to commute anymore, which not only saves me, remember those 3 hours I was talking about?
Yes.
It saves me that time, but also I was at the gas station on Tuesday because I took my son to a piano lesson. I had to fill up my car. And I was like, when is the last time I put gas in this
Yes.
car? I used to have to fill up like it was every other day, right? So now work days, because Saturdays and Sundays I didn't drive as much. But so like Monday through Friday, I would fill up like 2 or 3 times in the week.
Yeah.
Well, to fill up my car is $90.
Yeah.
So you do the math, that's $180 to $270 a week just for gas. That's not the tires. That's not the oil change.
Yeah, I understand.
That's just the gas, right? So I was standing there filling up the pump, and I was actually happy. I was smiling because I was like, I'm doing the math in my head. I've saved $1,000 a month in gas.
And if you notice, like now in all the job postings, in most of them, you have like possibility of working from home. Like
even if it doesn't say it, I'm going to tell you that there's a better chance now than ever before. I had a question from a lady. I think it was last time. It might have been the show before, but she said, if I really only want to work remotely, but I am in the local market, should I be applying for these jobs? And if so, when should I tell them that I really don't want to work at their office? I really only want to work remotely. And I said, you know what? I would do that in the interview process.
Exactly.
That's where I would pull that. There's no reason to disqualify yourself until you know that they're 100% interested in you. And then if they are 100% interested in you, you can sell yourself enough that they, even though they may not have considered that as a remote position, then they might. And I said, they might come back to you and say, hey, well, what if we do mostly remote? And you do like 4 days a week remotely and 1 day a week you come into the office. I said, then even if you had a 2-hour, 3-hour commute, it wouldn't be that bad because it's just the 1 day, right? So, and she was like, I didn't think about that, but that's a good point. And so, anyways, I don't know how to say your name. I don't want to butcher it.
It's okay, just butcher it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna let you go. You want to go first?
It's Biljana.
No. I mean this guy's name.
I don't know. Oh no,
yeah,
I thought about my name. No.
Biljana, I got you down.
No, I know. I wouldn't butcher.
I would say Koyam. I'm gonna say Koyam.
No. I thought about my name. No.
No, I'm gonna say Koyam. That's my guess. All right. So if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But here's the thing. So right now, I think what's happened is the labor force, and people in the United States are not happy about this. So let me just be honest, because that means now they're competing with people from everywhere. But I think now more than ever, you have a legitimate shot. I don't know if you're coming to me from Africa or India or Asia or wherever you are, you're outside the US. You have a more legitimate shot of working for a United States company remotely than ever before, right? And that could be for you guys a huge plus because our wages tend to be a lot higher than in most parts of the world. So now that doesn't mean every job will hire you.
Yeah.
But that means more jobs will. It's more openings, if you will. Okay. So yeah, you have an excellent shot. We've got a long one here. Let's see if there's a question attached to it. I'm looking for a job role as a BA. Okay, so when you use an acronym, make sure you explain it, because to us, BA could mean anything, right? So I actually don't know what you're talking about yet. I only have 3 years of experience. The jobs that land are less on the portals, right? So we've already discussed that on the show, but job portals are not the way to find most jobs. Though I applied, did not receive any positive report from companies, so you're not getting feedback. I understand that. I'm feeling less low. Ooh, I'm feeling low. Okay, there's a couple things to talk about here. Yes, I have family to save. Only bread earners me, and I don't know what else to do. Excellent. Okay, let me help you. Okay, you have to try this name.
I would just say Mrs. Vasu.
You are a coward. You are a coward. Here we go. Hemamalini. I think I probably said it too slow too, but anyways, let me help you out. I have a website. Here's my website. It's called Project Help You Grow. Hang on. Come up here. Project Help You Grow. Okay. I want you to go there because I address several things here. If you come to my blog, which is where I want you guys to go, if you haven't figured this out. Now, there are no ads. You don't have to sign up for anything. I'm going to hide that for just a second. I'll come back to it. But look, there are no ads on here. There's no pop-ups. You don't have to log in. There's nothing. I don't make any money on this. But the reason I want you to come here is because, look, we've talked about a couple things already today, but the cover letter strategy is one of them. Keyword ninjas, how to infuse the keywords in your resume and your cover letter, frankly. Something we haven't addressed today, but something that you might want to explore is fractional work and how it works. So that can be a source of income for you. It may not cover the whole thing, but when you're starving to death, it's better than nothing. And
Yeah.
frankly, I think this is actually the wave of the future. I actually think that if you go out 20 years, more people will be doing fractional work than doing the traditional roles that we're doing now. Because I think the paradigm shift has just started. I don't think it's
Yeah.
done. I think it's actually just getting started. Okay, we have talked about informational interviews. So there's an article on what it is and how to do it. This is something that you could do. Job search strategies in COVID, something you can do. How to win an interview, something you probably need to get better at if you don't have a job after an extended search. It could be that you're not interviewing well. Okay, how to spend your time, a daily planner for job seekers. Now, here's one that everyone outside of the country they want to work at would probably benefit from: how to land a job in a foreign country. Again, it's not a magic pill, but I've got 5 practical steps that you can use to start giving yourself a better shot at landing a job, and that's all it really is. ATS screening. So this one, how to set up your CV or your resume so that it's ATS compliant. Now, you talked about being down. I openly struggle with depression. It's not something that a lot of people are comfortable talking about, but I am, because I'm comfortable in my own skin. So thwarting depression before it sets in is right there for you. Again, this is free, 100%. You don't have, there's not even, you won't even see a Google ad, nothing. It's 100% free. Demystification of the ATS, because most people still don't know what the ATS is. I tell you what it is right there, all about it. And what it is a type of software. It's not software itself. It's a type of software. And there are thousands of different ATS programs. So learn what it is. It'll help you. 5 common mistakes to avoid when writing your resume. How to avoid getting scammed. Do you see any value to this? Practical pathway to getting your work visa. Oh my gosh, how many people would like that? Execute a winning plan with your job search. I use food as an analogy. How to search for a job under the radar. These are the folks who have a job, but they don't like it, and they want to find another job, but they want their current boss to know they're searching. So if you're in that scenario, and then here's one for freshers, thinking outside the box. What do you do if you've got that degree or degrees, but no experience? How can you get it? Building blocks freshers can use to land a job. You see, 5 steps for searching for a job like a sales pro. Recruiters and coaches, getting the help you need, right? And on and on and on. I have one in here I want to get to because This is the one for somebody who is. Oh, and by the way, if this technology role, these virtual roles caught you by surprise, I want to tell you it didn't catch me by surprise. I had this published on my blog over a year ago. This was written by my buddy Rob Depford, but this was posted in 2019, long before COVID ever. I'm going to click on it real quick. I'll come back. January 8th, 2019, we talked about virtual roles in this article. If you would go to Project Help You Grow and actually read these articles, you're going to be so much more prepared and so much better educated. Now, it's not magic. You still have to apply what I teach you here. But if you read these articles, which are all free, you're going to get a lot farther. Changing your thinking and land the job in the virtual reality, which is what we're at with artificial intelligence. The one I want to get to, here it is right here. Exposing the dark side of prolonged unemployment and how to escape the madness. This is probably my most powerful article of everything I've ever written. It talks about how to fight your depression, how to identify it in the early stages, and how to defend against it. This is from my own personal experience. I wrote it back in 2018. I really wish that I could have got through to Kirsty Bonner, my friend. I related to her in so many different ways. But this article can really help you. Again, it's free. Everything that you just talked about, in this comment, I address in blogs on Project Help You Grow. And that's why I want to recommend you go there. Not because it's my website. I don't get paid a single penny from you visiting my site. So go there or don't go there. But if you want help, that's a free resource for you. Okay.
I would like to offer to Mrs. Vasu my help.
Yeah.
It's completely charge free. Please DM me. I am currently finishing masters in therapy, so please reach out for feeling low, depression, anxiety. That will be my major. So please reach out. Don't be on your own.
Yeah.
We will have a Zoom and we will talk everything through. So everything will be okay. Nothing is forever. Not
Well,
this stage. Nothing is forever. So
let me address this too, because a lot of people. Okay, so what they do is they read other people's posts on social media.
They compare and everything.
And they're comparing their life to what they see from others on social media, which is the highlight reel. It's like the best of the best. It's not the real. It's like going to Slovenia on vacation versus living in Slovenia every day.
It's not even real.
It's not the same, right?
And it's not even real.
So first of all, it may be part of what you need to do is step away from that, or at least understand what you're looking at. Because when you see now, a lot of people go, Ira, I know you. I know your life. You're always on social media. You're always on video. Let me tell you that none of you know a damn thing about me. You really don't know anything about me. You don't know my struggles. You don't know my bills. You don't know my interpersonal relationships with my spouse and with my kids. You don't know. I mean, you know just that little bit. And most of you know more about me because I am on social media a lot and I am on video a lot. You know more about me than you know about anybody else online, right?
Yeah.
So be really, really careful assuming or presuming that you know Biana or any of us because you really don't. Like, what color socks do I have on? Am I wearing shoes? What kind of shoes are they? Where did I get those shoes? How old are those shoes? Right? And then I've got, all my kids and my family and what kind of car do I drive? I had somebody saying, I'll help you park your Mercedes in a better driveway. And I'm like, dude, I have a Kia. I don't own a Mercedes. I don't shop at, look, if you guys want to know the truth of it, I shop at Walmart and I shop on Amazon. And my wife also goes to Costco and a few other places. We don't live an extravagant lifestyle, right? I'm not living in a mansion on a hill. I live in a regular home. It's bigger than most people's homes because I have a lot of people, but it's a track home in a normal subdivision, right? So anyway, so that's part of it, maybe. The other thing is, and we talked about this. I ran a show yesterday, and I said, "How are you doing?" I want you guys to know, as job seekers, that even before COVID-19, so pre-COVID, the average job seeker, according to the data, took 7 months to land a job.
Yes.
Now, that doesn't mean everybody took 7 months. Some people could find a job, in a month or a week or whatever and get lucky, of course. And if you ever study bell curves, you'll know that that's true. There's always
Yeah.
outliers
Of
on the
course.
front end and the back end. I talked to somebody the other day who had been looking for a job for 6 years. Now, I would love to dissect why, because they're obviously not doing something right. It's probably
Yeah.
those dreamers. They want to be a doctor or a lawyer or something crazy, and they have no experience and they're not qualified. And that's probably what's going on there.
Yeah.
But, anyways, they said, I've been openly searching for a job for 6 years. And I thought, wow, right? So I meet people on both ends, is the only reason I bring that up. But here's the thing, that was pre-COVID. The average job search length is 7 months. Some of you guys start your conversations with like, I've been searching for a job forever and I haven't been able to find one. And I say, well, when did you start looking? And they say, well, June. And I go, June?
Yeah, that's nothing.
That's nothing. Right, right. So some
Yeah.
of it is perspective, just
Yeah.
knowing. And again, it's not about Project Help You Grow. It's about the information on there. When I was a kid, I used to watch this cartoon called G.I. Joe.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Oh, you know G.I. Joe? Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah.
You are becoming one of my best buddies. You know what I mean? Okay, because you know about Staples and you know about anyway.
Yeah.
So G.I. Joe, their motto or their war cry, knowing is half the battle. Yo, Joe, knowing is half the battle. Right. So anyway, so that's what they would do. They would learn, they would do reconnaissance, and then they would apply that strategy to their game plan to win and beat the Cobras, right? I mean, that's what it was all about. So maybe some of this is because you're not doing the study, because that's what I find with most of the job seekers that are out there is they're trying it's like throwing mud on the wall and seeing what sticks. You know what I mean? It's like
It's surface with a lot of job seekers. Sorry for interrupting you, but this is a message I would really like to get through today, because in this week, it's something I was trying to address across several people, across several posts, even in my own. Job seekers, please don't put as your name, as your main title, seeking for opportunity. It's not how you will get landed. Your main title has to be your future job. What it is, it's I don't know, whatever it is, human resources generalist, whatever it is, you have to put it. It's a limited amount of keywords, you have to put it in. Not seeking for opportunity. No one, in reality, no one cares about it. So your about section, they also need to be keywords in it. Don't be, I love to cook, I love to travel. Yeah, great. No one cares about that. I mean, you
well,
will.
it's not even that. Let me tell you the most important thing about why you shouldn't be making up these fancy titles and crazy like guru of.
Oh yeah, ninja, whatever. Yeah.
Don't use that stuff. Here's why. Nobody is going to search for that role. So honestly, right? If
I
they
know.
if they don't know you, they're not on your profile. How are they going to get to your profile to find you? Is
Exactly.
by searching for what they are looking for if you match. So
Exactly.
keywords are so important because A, when they come on, they're going to know that you fit the job. But even before they get there, the most important reason is the only way they're going to find you, dude. The only way they're going to find you is if you have the keywords that they put in the search bar
Exactly.
and you're high enough up on the list that they find you because they're not going through 57 pages to find you.
Of course.
So
Yes.
keyword matching, and I actually teach this with Bowman coaching, which you can see right here. Okay. This is my coaching thing. But I teach this when I'm teaching people how to set up their profile. We go through. I say, go through the job listings. Find like 3 or 4 job listings that you think you would work for any of them, right? That's your job. Find the keywords, the common words in all 4 of those job descriptions. 3, if you use 3, then 3. But pull those out, and those need to be infused throughout your whole profile and your resume, frankly. But your headline, your job titles, your job descriptions, your about us section, your
Yes.
skills and endorsements, and your
Everything.
recommendations, the referrals that people make for you. If you do those words all the way throughout, you will have a much better shot of landing at the top of the list
Exactly.
when they search for, okay, I'll use myself, right? Sales. So if I have more experience in sales, I have 20 plus years. That's my number one thing, sales, right? So I need to have sales in my headline. I need to have sales in my about us. I need to have it in my titles. I need to have referrals with it, and I need to have endorsements. Then when somebody searches for sales, I have a better shot of being on that first page. You don't have to be on that first page, but you really need to be in that first 3 or 4 pages, and you'll never
Yeah.
know. Here's another mistake, and I've got people who make this mistake, so let me just make this clear to everybody. Every single person who does a search, the results that you see on LinkedIn are going to be different because of your network. It
Of
takes
course.
your network into account first, second, and thirds. This is another reason why I encourage you to build your network. The more people you connect with, the more people who, when they search, have a shot at finding you. If you have 50 connections, you're not going to be found by nearly as many people as if you have 5,000.
Mhm.
Okay? You need to keep building your network. Too many people think that I would rather just connect with the people I actually know, and they don't understand that they are short-sightingly cutting themselves off from being discovered as a job seeker. Job seekers, you should do everything you can to connect with everybody you can. I don't care if you ever talk to them. I don't care if they, ever talk to you or support your post or like your any of that stuff. You guys got to get over it, because if you want to be seen on LinkedIn, specifically the way it works, you have to build your network.
Yeah.
Follow Me Friday is a networking event that I run, but you don't have to join Follow Me Friday. You could join anything you want, but you need to meet people somehow, and you need to get them to connect with you somehow. So whether you join Follow Me Friday or you do something else or you do everything, it doesn't matter. But network, network, network. We talked about in the beginning of the show when you first come on, Bianca,
Yeah.
this idea that 80% from the Wall Street Journal, right? This was a news
Yes.
article in the Wall Street Journal. 80% of people, that's 8 out of 10. So 8 people out of 10 people who find a job will not find it on ZipRecruiter or Indeed or Glassdoor or Project Help You Grow or any of the other job boards out there,
No.
right?
No.
They're going to find a job this way. I know Biana. Biana knows somebody hiring. Biana says, hey, I know Ira, he would be perfect for this role. And that person says, great, get me Ira's resume, right? Let me look at it. And then if they look at it and it looks good, then they say, okay, cool. Can you introduce me to Ira? And that's how it really goes. That's what networking really is. It isn't
Exactly.
me sharing my resume as a post and you sharing it. That does absolutely no good. In fact, I will tell you, you can get in trouble for that because of the privacy laws. If somebody takes your resume that has your phone number or your email address or your home address
Yes.
and shares it publicly, the platform can get sued by the governmental regulation agencies. Okay. So they're not being mean by shutting that stuff down. They're actually trying to avoid lawsuits. That's what they're trying to do, protect themselves. So what you need to do is learn how to network, not be desperate. Those things, they look like and they make people feel good. This is the difference between effective work and just feeling good. I call it salve, right? So if you get a post and you say, I'm really looking for a job, can you please view my profile? And 100,000 people share it. You're going to feel really good. You're like, man, I got this great shot. But I have yet to find anybody in 3 years who's found a job that way.
Yeah.
But I could tell you story after story after story of people that I've helped find a job because they built their network.
Yeah.
It's more effective. Now, it's not as sexy. I get it. It's not as, glorious. It doesn't sound as awesome because it isn't that easy button. It isn't, hey, Brigitte shared my resume and I found a job. And Brigitte, let me tell you something. Let me just put the rat on the table for all of you. If you guys are falling for that crap, you need to open your eyes
Yeah.
because she's not doing any of that stuff. I know for a fact she used to copy all these posts from Oleg and paste them, and Oleg wasn't doing it either. These guys are conning you into believing these feel good stories. How many people do you think they've actually hired in their life? They have hired some people. I'm not saying they haven't hired anybody, but you read all these stories that they hired. They never name the name. They never tag the person in the post. The person that they're talking about in the post never comments on the post. You know why? Because the person doesn't exist, right?
Yeah.
It's make believe. Stop falling for garbage. You need to be a little bit more. Um, what's the right word here? You need to be a little bit more testing. Like prove it in a state that I love in the United States. It's called Missouri. They have a slogan. It's called the Show Me State. Don't tell me how wonderful you are. Show me, right? And this is where you get people from. I hate the term influencer. Please don't ever
Oh,
call
me too. Yeah.
don't ever call me an influencer, right? But these quote unquote influencers who have all these grand stories and people following them like lemmings, right? They're like
Yeah.
just following no matter what these people say. But it's like,
Yeah.
how many jobs have you actually helped somebody get? Like,
And
let
they
me
have like one employee, and they're like, "Oh my gosh!"
right. Let me see. Let
I
me see
know.
let me see some of your actual results. Let me see something that is tangible. There are
I
people all the time. I could show you because I get the emails. This is the email that I typically get, by the way. Project Help You Grow email. Ira, thank you so much for Project Help You Grow. I just landed a job. Can you please pull my profile down because I don't need it anymore? I get
That's
that
awesome.
email pretty much every day, just so you
Yeah,
know.
that's awesome.
You know what I mean? But I don't share those publicly. But I know my project works because I get those emails, right?
Yeah.
And then I get the people who will post about me. But I don't, you know what I mean? But the fact is, I'm not making these stories up. I'm not hiring people. I'm not pretending
Yeah.
to be hiring people. And I'm not telling you about, I hired the guy who didn't have any experience
Oh
or he
my
had
gosh, that's
huge,
the most stupid viral thing currently. Like every second person is posting that. And then you
right.
see that he's searching for a job. And I'm like, who did you hire? Like you're searching for a job. Like, no, actually, I saw that the other day. And then we had the networking event, and I'm like, how on earth? Like,
Yeah.
I understand if a CEO of Coca-Cola would post that, then I would be okay. Like, but you're a job seeker, so I was like stunned by those
Yeah,
posts.
this
So
this this is what I want to say. If you really want to see the authenticity of my post, take my post word for word, copy the sucker and paste that into Google. You're not
yeah,
going to you won't even find another post from me that's word for word because I don't copy and paste my posts ever. I write every freaking word every time. I don't automate them. I don't have like a scheduler that puts them out for me. When you see me post, right before you saw it, I hit enter. I hit it, right? But a lot of these, go to Brigitte's post. I'm picking on her. I'm connected to her. I'm picking on her now. Oleg's just as bad. I could name a bunch of them that do this crap, but it's awful because you can take their post, you can copy it, go put it in Google, and you'll find other people. A lot of times, even themselves, who have used that same post before. They're so lazy. They're just doing it for vanity, and people fall for the crap. It's not real help. So be careful who you trust. But if you ever want to test it, now I just told you how to test it. That's how I know who does what because I do that stuff myself because I'm interested. I'm looking for real people who are really helping. And if they do something that I don't do that I can learn, then I'll learn it and then I can help more people too, because I have an audience of my own, right? So,
Well, that
for me, it's about the help. It's never about the fame. I do things, and I know you do too, that cost me followers. In fact, calling out Brigitte is going to cost me followers. I promise you, I will lose followers because I just, spit on their queen in their eyes. And that's not what I did. I'll tell you what, I've been connected to Brigitte for over 2 years. Probably most of you who love and adore her, she's not even connected to you, right? I've had conversations with her. I know who she is. But the fact is, and Oleg too, by the way, I've actually talked to Oleg more than Brigitte. But and Kirsty Bonner, and that was what was different about Kirsty Bonner. Kirsty Bonner was a real person doing real work.
I love Kirsty.
Yeah, to really help people, and
she's untouchable. Sorry, like
that's why she was my friend. She was my friend.
Mine too. Kirsty is untouchable. Sorry.
Yeah, she was not. She was not a lemming person. She was somebody that you could actually follow. It's not about the size of the group. I don't mind people having large followers by all means, especially if you're doing real work. And she was doing real work. So it is interesting. It is interesting when you kind of break all that stuff down. But the point is, what you think is going to help you and what makes you feel good isn't always the thing that will actually help you. And one of the reasons why I'm not more popular, because I get that question too, like, hey, Ira, why don't you have 3 million followers? You want to know why? Because I'm the guy telling you to eat your vegetables, not to eat your ice cream. If I went the ice cream route and started telling people about rainbows and puppies and, fairy tales, like, I'm just going to share your resume. You know what? If I shared your resume, it'll be seen by 100,000 people. So I'm going to share your resume. And guess what? You're going to love me. I just made a fan for life. But the fact is, it's not going to help you get a job. So I'm not telling you to do that. I'm not doing that for you. I'm giving you the information you need to actually find the job. And now remember, 8 out of 10 people are not going to find their job from a job board. Some of them, more people will find their job by being discovered on LinkedIn than will find a job through a job board. Do the math on that. I know that's true. So how do you get discovered? Like we were talking about, keyword infuse your title, your job listing title, your work experience, your about us, your skills and endorsements. By all means, people, take off Outlook and PowerPoint and Excel and Ready and anything else that you guys might, I want to say there's skills or endorsements for stuff that just doesn't matter, right? Like you want to use those because those count in your overall score for how it stacks you up, right? So here, let me give you an example. If I'm putting up a position for web design, and I have in my profile web design for an endorsement, and I've been endorsed 500 times for that, I get credit for the endorsement and how many times. That goes into the equation of where I land on the map. So if you're trying to find a job for web design or web developer, and you don't have that in your endorsements, but you have something like Punctual or Outlook, right? or spreadsheets, that's not going to help you be discovered. It's a wasted opportunity. Throw those out and add 50. You get 50 of them. Add 50 really good endorsements that are all relevant to what you do, how you do it, and the role you're trying to land, right? And then for the people that are changing careers, that could mean a fresh look at the endorsements. Because let's say before you were in accounting and now you're going into psychology, right? So let's say you're making that transition. You have the degree or you're working on a degree. You're making that transition. You're never going back to accounting. Well, maybe spreadsheets was relevant for accounting, but it's no longer relevant because you're going to into the psychology, right? So now maybe you need like listening and all these other things, right? Maybe even empathy and things like that. Those might be skills that you want to have on the new profile to go for the transition from accounting to psychology.
Yeah.
So let's see if we have any more questions. We've been on for an hour, which is crazy. But here she's validating what we said. When you set up your profile, recruiters are always going through LinkedIn,
Oh,
right?
I love Irina. I'm following her. She has amazing content.
Irina is my friend too. Now, Irina,
Oh, we're like brother and sister, Ira.
right?
Like we love
That's
the
what
same
I'm saying.
people.
You and I are growing on each other. Irina works for Hint, which is a water company in
Okay.
San Francisco. But she and I have known each other. She was working for Gallo Wine before. I've known her for a while. I don't remember how we met, Irina, but I know we've known each other for a couple years now.
I
So
love her content.
yeah, she's very good. She's a sweet lady.
And also like
I'd have to understand the context of this. If you're talking about in your resume, I did just do a post. My resume template came from Kirsty Bonner.
mine too.
Did you know that Kirsty Bonner helped me write my resume? Most people don't know
Mine
that.
too.
So she looked at my resume one time and she goes, Ira, you have too much stuff on your resume. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, so before Kirsty, and Kirsty was a little bit older than me, but not a lot. But before Kirsty, I never considered myself an old man. All right. Never thought about like ageism as it applied to me. And she goes, Ira, you're showing your age here. And you need to make this change. It'll help you, in the future. And I said, okay, what should I do? And she said, well, send me your resume and I'll fix it for you. Hey, awesome. Right. So here's an industry expert. Let me see what she does. So one of the things that she did for me was she separated out into two categories, which is the template. Now I've been sending this to people and they've asked me for it. I have a Word doc, that I can send you.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
But what it is it's basically 10 years of current experience. And then anything over 10 years goes down into this, what she calls previous work history section. And it strips out the date. It actually does strip out the job description and stuff too. So it's really just simple. It says what I did, who I did it for, and where I did it. Right. So that's the three things that are in there. Anyways, that was a Kirsty Bonner thing. So for Corinne, what I would say is if you're talking about your resume or your CV, you can put all your job titles if you like. And I would suggest that you do it that way. I've adopted Kirsty Bonner's philosophy on that. So that's one of the things that I'll take with me from her.
And but I have seen this a lot in resumes, forward thinking, compassionate, but if you cannot prove that, don't, because I have forward thinking with a reason. I created a job position, my first job position, by the job market. I actually, a lady in Austria, she created that job position. I really wanted to do the job that she was doing. So I actually applied her system into the Slovenia. So I reached out to my then director and we created a job for me. So, and my last business that I own was actually the model from USA. I owned an Airbnb property management company. It was actually everything was important from USA, but because of our laws and regularities, I had like a 1 year long gap for trying to implement everything into Slovenia. So I am forward thinking, but you have to prove that.
Yeah.
So people are just putting all those things in it, but on the interview, you will actually have to. They will ask you, why are you forward thinking? And you cannot just say, oh, and just, you have to say something back.
You guys need to go to Project Help You Grow and read my article, Winning the Interview, because I address this in there. This is something that Kirsty Bonner and I used to talk about with job seekers all the time. It's like your resume is nothing should be haphazard on the resume.
Yes.
Meaning everything's there for a very specific reason, and everything that you put on there is open for them to ask about, right?
Yes.
So if you can't defend it, If you can't make a case for it like you were in a legal battle, then you need to remove it. Do
Yes.
not fabricate anything on your resume. And I know this confuses some people because they go, keyword matching, I need to infuse the keywords from the job listing into the CV or the resume. So they want to take every keyword and put it in there. Like, no. That's not what
No.
we're telling you to do. We're telling you to go through your resume to pull out or to change any similes or synonyms, depending on how you want to say it. But like words, for example, if somebody says account manager and you have account executive or you have sales representative in your resume, then you need to change that word from sales representative or account manager to account executive, because that's the terminology that they use. But if they say account manager and you've never had any sales experience, you've never done it,
No. Yeah.
you don't put that in there, because
Yeah,
when
of course.
you get to
Yeah.
the interview, well, you would think it's of course, but I have people doing this. Then they get to the interview and they're like, you know, so it says here you've been an account executive. Tell me about it. And they go, I haven't.
Oh my.
It's here in your resume.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Don't fabricate. Don't make things up. You're not rewriting your history to get the interview. You're only changing it as appropriate. Now,
Yeah.
Emmanuel has got a two-part comment here. He says, I've applied for many jobs and my profile was perfectly in line with. No call for even an interview. Now, there's a couple things that could be going on here. And the follow-up to it is right here. Maybe I need advice or coaching. Don't know what's wrong. Well, let me help you. First of all, just get yourself to Project Help You Grow and read the articles, because you're probably doing a lot wrong. But one of the things that most people do wrong, they are on a job board reading a job listing that the person who put the job up never even went to that. So maybe it's on ZipRecruiter, maybe it's on Indeed, who knows where it is, but it's on one of these job boards. You're reading a job listing. The job listing was never put on that board by the owner of the job. They might have listed it on another site, on their own website, wherever it came from. It didn't originate on that job board. So this is one of the reasons why job boards are dangerous, because you're reading a job listing that was never actually put there by the owner of the job. The recruiter, the HR, the hiring manager, whoever, they never put it there. So it was copied and pasted from another source. It could be that that job was already filled before you even applied to it. You didn't get ghosted by somebody. They didn't ignore you. They have no obligation to respond because it's not their, they didn't put the listing there. You understand? So you have to be careful. What I tell people to do is, if you're going to apply for a job, you need to go to the website, the actual company's website, and find the job listing there. If it's not there, that position probably doesn't even exist anymore. But what you can do is you can reach out to the HR. You can call them on the phone, right? You're on their website, get the phone number, make the phone call, say, hey, I was over at ZipRecruiter. I was over at Project Help You Grow. I saw a job listing from your company listed on or advertised on that website. I went to your website and I don't see it in the career section. Is that position still available? Now I'm going to tell you what happens here. That HR person is going to fall out of their freaking chair. They're going to fall out of their chair because they're going to be impressed that you took the initiative to do all that, because that's not common. That's extraordinary. You're showing that you are taking the initiative. Now, they may not have that position available, but they might be impressed with you and ask you to interview anyways. That does happen, because this is like sending in a resume for a job listing cold. We've talked about this before, you and I, right?
Yeah.
So that's one thing. But if it is available, you can ask them to email you. Now you've got direct connection with the HR people. Okay. So that's one thing they should do. The other thing is, and this is completely other end of the spectrum, you might read your resume or your CV and that job listing and go, I'm perfect for that job. And you send in your resume, you didn't make any changes. You just
Yes.
send it in, right? You're doing that one size fits all thing, which is not the way to do it anymore. And what's happening is you're not keyword matching high enough to earn the interview. And because they didn't give you the interview, now I'm going to tell you, you guys can like this or not like this. We've got another comment that I'm about to get to. But this one, you think you've been ghosted. You haven't been ghosted. They never reached out to you. They never communicated with you. You are not ghosted until they talk to you and say they're going to talk to you again and don't live up to that. Now, that does happen, and it's not correct. It should not happen, but it does happen. But in this case, you're not ghosted. You're not getting any feedback because you didn't make the minimum cut line. Again, you read your resume and their job description and you think you're a perfect match. What you failed to consider is how many other people responded to the job listing that might have had a better application, at least on paper. They keyword matched better. They look like they fit. They had more experience or the right amount of experience, because sometimes you have too much experience and they don't want to hire you either, which we could talk about. But you see what I mean? So those are a couple different things that could be going on there. And there's a whole lot of other stuff too. Maybe you didn't write a cover letter. Maybe you submitted your application in a PDF and they don't understand PDFs in the ATS. Again,
I just wanted to say, maybe your resume is just not ATS applicable. I mean, just again, sometimes is as easy as that. I mean, you maybe need someone to just check your resume first. And I mean, a professional, not someone.
Right. And also maybe you don't have any referrals in what I call internal referrals, which would be a reference point inside the company, because some companies will not hire without that if you don't have any internal references, right? So there's all kinds of different reasons that could be going on here. So you're absolutely right. I'm going to give him 100% credit.
Yeah.
Maybe I need some advice or coaching. Yes, you do. Okay. You need some advice. You can get the free advice on projecthelpyougrow.com. You're watching this show. You're getting free advice right now. So hopefully this stuff helps you. Now, this person, I don't like this attitude. I'm going to tell you right now, your personal feelings about you think the system's broken. Okay. So does everybody else. So get over it, because it is what it is. You can work towards changing it, but you still have to work within the system that's here now. It is what it is, whether we like it or not, right? So get over your pity party and figure out how a fresher could find a job. Now, I wish 100% that colleges and universities would start telling these students that the piece of paper, the certificate, the degree that you're spending all this money on is not enough in itself to find a job. I'm going to try it now. Don't mean to butcher it. Adebayo? Maybe. Anyways, to your point, a college degree in itself is not enough. Now you know that. So how do you find a job? Well, I've already showed you guys. I'm going to go back to it, and then I'll pull it up on my blog. It's right here. Okay. Right here. It's called Think Outside the Box. Building blocks freshers can use to land a job. Go inside here, read this article, and when you do, I'm going to give you some tips, things that you can do. Volunteering for a community organization, that will help you get experience. You have the degree, or you're working on the degree. You need both. Did you know that most entry-level jobs now require 3 to 5 years of experience? I just said entry-level jobs require 3 to 5 years of experience. They're not entry-level anymore, okay? So you need to, as you're getting your degree, a co-op program, an internship, a work study program. You need something like that. When you're in school, even if you get a bachelor's degree, I've got a friend who has 2 master's degrees, and he's working on his doctorate, and he can't find a job in his field.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have the work part of it. Look, let me finish this out. Find an internship, ministry opportunities, or philanthropy opportunities, however you want to call it, working for some type of religious organization. Professional interviews, or, what we call informational interviews. So anyways, there's some ideas for you. Read this. Again, it's free. You don't have to pay anything. Just come over here and read it. But that'll help you. But there's the education and the qualifications, right? The brain part of it. And then there's the work history part. Almost every job, if not every job, you have to have both. They're not going to hire. You can be really strong on one and zero on the other. You don't qualify. You could be really strong on the other, have nothing on the other, and not qualify. You could have a little bit of both and get hired over somebody who's really strong at one and nothing on the other.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, right? So your
It
cumulative
makes,
score,
yeah.
you could have a like perfect education, so 5, which is, let's say it's 5 out of 5, and a 0 on experience, and so you only have 5 points. You could have somebody who's got like a 3 on education and a 3 on job history, and they've got 6 points. They beat you, right? And that's how keyword infusion works with the ATS too, by the way. You might keyword match the top words, but not have any of the other 36, right? And so you lose to somebody who doesn't even have the top one, but they have 30 of the bottom 36. And so they got 30 points. You know what I mean? And so every word on your resume, on your cover letter, it all matters. And keyword infusion has to be top to bottom on the resume, on the cover letter, on your LinkedIn profile too. Because if they're coming to you via a LinkedIn search, again, that's how they're going to find you. So we're going to cut, I'm just sorry, we're going to cut this in 10 minutes. We've got 10 minutes. So I'm actually going to give you open floor for any topic that you want to cover because you're my guest. So if you've got a topic or two that you want to cover that we haven't addressed yet, let's talk about
it. I just wanted to say, like for instance, this is completely different in Europe. Like entry-level jobs are entry-level. They don't. I mean, they're not seeking for any type of experience. Yeah.
So there you go. So try to find a virtual job in the UK.
Yeah. No, actually, that's true. I mean, I believe that nowadays, even for graduates, if they're freelancing, if they're doing anything, they can qualify even in USA. I mean, you just need to think actually outside of the box. So,
well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you're freelancing in the United States, you typically have to have experience. So maybe that is a difference thing here. But you could go to a site like Fiverr,
yeah,
and get some work that way. That's an opportunity a lot of people don't explore. Are
yes,
part-time jobs, temporary jobs, contract jobs, what we call fractional work. They're not looking at those. They're only looking at the traditional 40-hour a week with benefit type jobs. And I'm telling you that those jobs, I know it's the normal and I know it's what people want, right? But the fact is, companies are starting to figure out that they can get by with these non-traditional roles. And actually, sometimes they're better off from the labor and the talent pool they get. We haven't talked about ageism at all. I mean, there's all kinds of reasons why it works for the employer. Now, I'm telling you, I actually now am a business owner, Bowman Digital Media, and I work for people like Exit Your Way on a fractional basis. It's better for Exit Your Way, and it's better for me. There are advantages. Now, people go, well, I need the benefits. I need the benefits too. I've got a large family, and a few of my family members have medical conditions. We need medical health care, but I pay for it separately. It's just like, I needed a camera to run my company. So guess what? I went and bought this camera. It's a commodity. You can buy it yourself. So fractional work is something that I want people to consider. Now, for Ravi, still no reply based on my LinkedIn profile. Well, your LinkedIn profile might not be good enough, right? Did you hire somebody to help you fix it? You know what I mean? Did you do what I said? Like go through 3 or 4 job listings, find all the keywords, and use those keywords from top to bottom? I have not gone through your profile, and maybe I should, but the fact is, if you want to have me do it for you as my customer, that's what Bowman Digital Media is. Or I'm sorry, Bowman Coaching is about. You can go to irabowman.com and sign up for a session if you like. But there is no magic pill, guys. There's nothing that's guaranteed. Maybe your LinkedIn profile is perfect, but you have 150 connections, maybe. right? Again, I haven't looked at your profile, so I don't know. I'm just saying these are some of the things that might not. You could have the 100% LinkedIn perfect profile for your job, right? You've set everything up right, but you don't have any visibility because you do have a small network, or maybe you never make any posts, maybe you never make any comments, maybe you have a piss poor attitude and you're rude to people and they don't like you.
And
Because
that's actually your personal branding.
there's a lot of that. Like if you read the comments on my posts, you'll see sometimes they're like, "Wow, that person's in a bad mood." You know what I mean? And I get it. They get frustrated with, life, their situation, and so they take it out on people like me because I'm trying to help people. And it's not they're not frustrated with me. Right? I've never met Robbie. I've never dealt with him before. You know what I mean? But anyway, so that stuff can happen. Do you recommend direct contact with recruiters or HRV? Yeah, why not? But here's what I will say: treat them as a person, not as a meal
Yes,
ticket. I wrote a post about that the other day too. Treat people like people.
people, yeah. There is a
Yeah,
person behind the profile.
when you reach out to a recruiter or an HR person, don't lead with, "Hey, can you help me find a job?" No, don't do that. That's a mistake. We know that you're on LinkedIn to help find yourself a job. We totally get it, right? But they didn't come onto LinkedIn to help you find a job. They do help people find jobs, and it is part of what they do. But they didn't come here specifically to help you. They don't know you. Zig Ziglar is one of my favorite authors. He was a sales professional, business salesperson. He's departed. He's no longer here on,
Yeah.
he's alive anymore. But when he was alive, he was really, really good at sales. One of the things that he's famous for quoting is this statement: people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. He said that in his books a lot. Now, I think he actually got that from somebody else, right? That's a statement from, it might have been a president of the United States. Anyway, somebody said it, but he, in his book, said it, and that's how I know it, okay? So when you reach out to these folks, I recommend you start in the comments of their posts. Go to their posts, start there, say something polite, encourage them, maybe compliment them on the information they're sharing in the post, but do that a few times. Now they start to see you on a regular basis. And then
Engage, yeah.
maybe in a comment you say, "Hey, I'd love to connect with you. Are you open to that?" You're not sending them a DM, you're not sending them a connection request. You're just asking in a comment, "Would you be open to, connecting?" And you can also hit the follow button. A lot of people are flattered by that. So you do a little to flatter them, to get to know them, to show them that you're not just selfish or not just about yourself. We know you want to find a job. Look, when you get to know me and I get to know you, all of a sudden it goes from you thinking that you need to beg me to help you to get my attention to me looking at your situation going, "Hey, I think I could help you."
Yeah.
And me wanting to help you. Now, as soon as I reach out to you and say, "I want to help you," now you can ask all you want and you can be completely open, right? So take that advice, folks. That's probably the best advice I've given on the show.
Okay, so for all of this people that we currently have this on here, let me just clarify the hidden job market. I really think that you should be more proactive on this, what to do. So if you have clear path, where would you like to work, for whom you would like to work, go into that company. You need to research companies. So from now to 6 months back, you need to go everywhere, Google, Wall Street, everything. You need to know front and back, everything for them. Stocks, everything. If you don't understand stocks, read. Like, you need to inform yourself as much as you can. You need to see what are their current challenges, what are they facing with, everything that you can. Connect with as many employees that you can out of that firm. So that needs to be part of your routine. Put your resume, it needs to be perfectly ATS. If you don't know how to do it, hire someone, ask a friend who is doing resumes, go to project, help you grow, whatever you can, just do it. So you need to be extremely proactive. I mean, there is also a statement that through average job listings, it's actually a better chance to go to get to accepted to Harvard than to get a job. So yeah,
It's true, even if you're
yeah,
doing.
yeah,
I want you to look at this. Okay, this is an article that I wrote. It's called Daily Time Planner for Job Seekers. Okay,
yes,
so here's what I've got going on. I have got a suggested schedule for you as a job seeker, how to spend your day.
yeah,
You were just talking about something that was like music to my ears because a lot of job seekers are not doing this, but that research is critical. Okay,
extremely.
look at what I tell people to do in the 8 o'clock hour, right? So at 8 o'clock, I want you to research vertical market industry for new trends, look up companies that are hiring in your market. Now, this isn't necessarily they have job listings, but I'm telling them to do what you just said. Research the stocks, research how they're
Everything.
growing. Are they expanding into new territories, new cities, or opening up, new facilities? Those are all clues. They don't always say I'm hiring, but you can put two and two together. They're building a new building. They're going to be hiring somebody, right?
Yes.
And even if they're not hiring, then the people that are doing that work are hiring, right? So, you can find out who's got the contracts to build the buildings and things like that. Okay. So anyways, what's happening and find out more about the companies themselves. You want to learn as much as you can about the industry and the company. So when you interview, you're up to date. But to your point, and part of this is now I know they're hiring. So now I even know where to effort. Then I tell you to take a break. Then from 10 to
Stretching the brakes. Sorry, stretching the brakes. Take the air. Go somewhere. Don't be closed, but your brain needs something. Drink water.
yeah,
So
read it.
yeah.
Just get up, get away from the computer. Want to check social media? You want to check social media or watch something, do it from your phone or tablet, but get up and walk around. You need that exercise, especially if you didn't start the day with some exercise, because a lot of people are not
Yes.
actually. You need physical activity in your life.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It helps your brain and your body. Now,
Yes.
from 10 to noon, I tell people to look for jobs. Get on your favorite website, whichever one it is. Really like the interviews. Bookmark the ones you like best. Do not apply. This is the mistake that too many of you are making. You're on that job board, and the first thing you want to do is hit that upload resume and submit. Stop it, because that's where you're missing out. You're making your biggest mistake by blindly applying for jobs before you've done any of the actual work. Identifying the job listing is just step one into applying. You need to revise your resume. You need to write your cover letter. And before you do that, you need to do some homework. What homework do you need to do? So glad you asked. Let's keep going throughout the day. Okay. Have some lunch, no fast food. You got to be healthy for your brain. So I'm encouraging you to eat right and to exercise.
So you're not sleepy after lunch. Yeah.
Now, what did you say? We need to meet as many people from this industry as we can, from this company as we can, right? Guess what I'm encouraging people to do? For 90 minutes a day as a job seeker, from 12:30 to 2, I want you to get social. Sounds crazy, but most jobs are not earned by applying blindly to job listings on job boards. What did we just say from the article? 8 out of 10 people, that's 80% of people, do not find jobs on job boards. They get hired outside of the job board.
Yes.
So you need to get social, people. This is why you need to build your network. You need to meet people. And beyond meeting them, you need to become friends with them. You need to get close enough to them that they would be willing to pass your resume forward to the hiring manager if a position becomes available, right? Okay. So read the damn article, folks, and then do what I tell you to do. Not because I'm smarter than you, but because I have more experience with this.
Yeah, I just want to say you're experienced.
Right. Now
we are feeling each other's words. So.
Right. Now look at those job listings from 2 to 4. I want you to take the time. I want you to read these jobs, actually read them. Pick the one that you like most. One job, people. You're applying for 500 jobs a day, and that's why you're not getting any interviews.
Yeah.
You're totally missing the whole point. Slow down. I'm going to give you an analogy. If you were shooting darts, you wouldn't take 100 darts in your hand and throw them all at the same time as a dartboard. You wouldn't do that because they would all bounce off, right? And even if one did stick, it isn't sticking on that bullseye, and you need to hit that bullseye. So instead, what I want you to do is take the one that you like the best. and we're going to do some research now. Check this out, right? Keyword research, which I write about in a previous blog, right? And then I want you to infuse that.
Hashtags.
Yeah, infuse that through the cover letter and the resume. Once you have done the needful, you can write your personalized cover letter for the job. It might take the one job submission might take the full 2-hour window, and that's okay. One really good job submission a day will land you a job faster than doing 100 the other way, right? Or 500 or however
If
many.
you research as you have put it here, and as I was saying,
and make the adjustments. It's not just the research. It's research.
It's one per day max.
Yeah.
Max
So
you're
researching, you're getting social and building rapport, and you're revising your keyword cover letter and resume to match that job listing. You're doing all three things in the day. It takes the whole day.
Yeah.
Now, skill development time. This is the other thing. And somebody had asked about, what skills should I add with the MBA, right? This is the thing people aren't doing. I don't want you to get stale and stay stagnant where you are. I want you to continue to improve yourself. So I say 1 hour a day, Monday through Friday, you devote time to improving yourself, whether that's reading a book, whether that's taking a course, whatever that is. And again, if you go to my, my blog on freshers thinking outside the box, and I've got those activities listed there, which was, internship. It was volunteering for a religious organization, volunteering for a community organization, any of those things. You can develop skills that way too. Okay. And then I tell you to eat something healthy, do some reading. This is personal care. This is what Kirsty Bonner would call personal care, right? I want you to have personal care time. Do those things. I promise you that will be far more successful for you than how you're spending your day now. And you're going to look, again, I don't care if you go to Project Help You Grow, really. I just want you to do the things that I'm teaching you to do. And that's the place where I put the lessons. So, if you can find them on other websites or other ways, by all means, do it. Again, I don't make any money with Project Help You Grow. It's philanthropy. It says it right here on the screen, 100% free for everyone. That includes recruiters and employers. Nobody pays to use my site, right? It's free for everybody. There's no ads or whatever. So anyways, do what you want to do, but that's what I suggest and why I suggest it, okay? So we are out of time. Is there anything that you'd like to say as we wrap this up?
It was my true pleasure being your guest.
Well, I think you're amazing. You're a talent that people should, if they're not already following you, I think you probably gained a few followers from this show. Certainly, it's going to live on as a video after it's live, so I'm sure you will gain a few more followers. I probably lost a couple hundred because I picked on Brigitte, but it is what it is. So, like me or not, I am transparent in my thinking because I want to help people really get that job. I want to say this: job seekers, don't lose heart. Right? If you have not found a job yet, it doesn't mean you are not good enough to land a job.
It's not personal.
It's not personal most of the time, but it probably needs to become a little more personal because you probably need to do a little bit more rapport building. I think that most job seekers out there have undervalued the what networking offers to you towards finding that job. It's far more important, I think, than what most people are actually giving credence to it in their mind or in their evaluation. Your rapport building, your networking is a bigger part of you finding a job than what most people are giving credence to. That's what I'm trying to say. So spend time every day building relationships, meeting new people on social media, because right now that's the only way we can do it. I have some free events. On Tuesdays, I do speed networking with Mike and Ira. You were actually there, even though it was really late.
That was awesome. People definitely go there. Definitely.
You're going to get to meet.
It's amazing.
You'll get to meet everybody in the room. We actually are going to add a new element. We're just going to start it this week. We're adding a new element to it. I'm going to bring everybody on stage and let them do a 30-second introduction. So there's going to be if for lack of better word, elevator pitch. It's not to sell anything. It's just to say hi and hey, my name's Ira. I'm from California. I own Bowman Digital Media and I help make websites and run social media for businesses. That's what I do for a living, right? So if a job seeker could come on and go, "Hey, I'm Ira Bowman. I'm in the sales profession. I'm looking for, business to business sales in the LA area." They could say something like that, right? Again, it's free. But the fact is, if you come and meet those people, you're going to make new connections. They're going to get to know you. And those are the people that'll help you find a job because now you have more people looking for you too. That's the other part. You get more eyes. You have a bigger team. You have a team helping you find a job as opposed to just being out on your own. So that's Tuesdays. That happens late for those of you in India and the UK, I know. But for the rest of the world, it actually works pretty good. It starts at 3 p.m. my time. That's 6 p.m. Eastern. So that's 11 o'clock, I think, starts in the UK. And that's 3:30 in the morning in India. So it's late there. But if that doesn't work,
I was awake, so
yeah. And if it doesn't work for you, come to our roundtables on Thursdays. Our roundtables actually start at 7:30 in the morning. So that's 8 p.m. in India, right? What is that? 4:30, I think, in the UK. So that's Thursdays. Now that one we have it's called the Roundtable with Exit Your Way. Okay, that's on Thursdays. That one we have a panel discussion. It's a little bit different, but we have networking before and after every time. And then, of course, there's Follow Me Friday, which is happening right now on my last text post. So you can go there and meet a ton of people. But anyways, there's opportunities all over for you to network with people virtually like this over the video and the text posts. So get active. And then again, the other thing is remember, pre-COVID-19, 7-month average for job seekers to land a job. So your job search may be dragging on in your mind, but it might actually be right with the normal. This is the process. It takes a while. Okay.
I would like to invite anyone who is there enough to try with hidden job search to contact me. So this is something that I'm offering. This is my field of expertise. So I will not be offering a regular job postings because there is plenty of those. So this is where I landed all my regular jobs while I was doing them. So if anyone wants to, oh, thank you, Penny. So if you would like to do, it's true, Penny. It was Wall Street Journal. I didn't make that up. So.
Yeah. That's okay. So for those of you who are wondering why I brought Bianna on the show and not some of the other people, I'm very careful who I bring on my shows, especially this topic, because there's so much crap out there. There's a dude from Canada that I can't even stand. I'm so because it's a scam, right? There's people out there. Again, I hate picking on the same two people. They're just they're most well.
Don't.
But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah,
I'm not bringing those people on my show because the information they espouse is garbage. The reason why I brought you on the show is because I like what you're putting down, right? You're actually telling people. I think you and I think very much alike. It's almost like you're the female version of me in a certain sense, right?
Yeah.
But that's why you're here, because you're giving people information that is actionable and it's accurate, right? And both of them are important. It's good to make people feel good. There is some value there, but it's dangerous when all you're doing is making them feel good and not addressing the elephant in the room, which is the reason why you're not finding this job is because you're not doing this right.
Yeah.
Right? So if you have a prolonged job search, there is something you need to do differently. There absolutely is. You need to identify it. Now, one of the things that I tell people is, let's find out. I can help you identify what you're doing wrong by where in the process you're getting stuck. So for the person who's never getting the interview, the problem is somewhere between your LinkedIn profile and your resume profile or your format. To your point, it may not be ATS compliant. You might just be using the wrong file type. You might be on a job board. Again, I talked about that a little bit. So the job boards not every job listing is submitted on every job board, right? So sometimes you're seeing a job listing that was submitted. It's what I call stale. The job has already been filled. It wasn't anything that you did wrong except for applying to a job that's already been filled. And nobody's going to respond to that. Nobody. So, you just have to, there are some things that you could do differently there, right? So figure out where you're getting stuck. If you're getting the interview, but you're not getting the job, or you're getting to the second interview, but you're not getting the job, there's different things. It could be that you're asking for too much money. It could be that you're not dynamic. You're not asking enough questions. You're not expressing your desire to work for them well enough, right? It could be that you don't have any inside referrals, internal referrals. And so the person they're hiring is probably equal or maybe even less than you, but they come with a vouch. I vouch for this person, and you don't have that.
That's huge, but that's huge.
It is absolutely huge.
That's huge.
There are all kinds of different things. So if you're getting stuck, if you can tell me where you're getting stuck, I could tell you almost 100%. I'm pretty good at it. I can tell you what's wrong. You may not want to hear it. You may not like it, but
we have to be real. Come on. I mean, this world is not lullaby. So, I mean, sorry.
Right. Again, I'd rather you be a little bit irritated with me, but have the real answer than to have millions of followers who follow me, but I never help them. I'm actually hurting them because I'm not giving them what they actually need. Again, in this analogy, I deal in vegetables, and the other people that I don't bring on my show are dealing in ice cream and candy. They're dealing, it's easy to consume, but it's not healthy for you. And so the people I bring on my show are the people that, again, are not. I don't care. I don't care if you have a large following. Look, I mean, you could have millions of followers if you're doing it the right way.
I have like 3,000.
but I'm just saying, like, that's not a prerequisite for the show.
Yeah, I know what
you know what I mean. It doesn't disqualify you from being on the show, certainly, but just because you have 100,000 followers or 1 million followers or 10 million followers, I'm not going to bring you on if I don't think that you're relevant to the show as far as giving out accurate information. Bianna, I support you. I thank you so much for joining me. Thank you
so much, and I would like to say rest in peace, our dear friend Kirsty Bonner.
Yeah. I'm still not over it.
She put us together. I will never be over. So
I got an interesting question here right at the end. How do you be a part of the discussion? Well, you just did. You ask questions, but you got to get here sooner. I have something on my profile. It's called the IRA guide. If you go to IRA, just go to my profile, go to the section, they call it featured, go there. And then on it, there's my schedule. And if you see that, I want you to come back next week. I'm actually updating that probably even today. I'm going to be updating that. I'm changing around my schedule a little bit. Some of the shows, the ABC show, I think is going to be discontinued. And I'm going to change the time for the Wednesday Cup of Joe, which I think is going to become a weekly show now as opposed to every other week. I'm changing some things around based on the engagement levels that I get and relevance, frankly. So anyways, there's that. So stay tuned. But the IRA guide has the current schedule. You can find where I'm at and when I'm at if you want to find me. But to be a part of the show, you just ask questions like you did. And you get here sooner because we're wrapping this thing up right now. In fact, I'm getting ready to turn on the music. Bianna, thank you so much. If people are looking for you, I encourage them to find you on LinkedIn, send you a connection request in the message. When you send that connection request, always send a message, by the way.
Yes, please. And no, I'm married. I don't want to marry you.
Yeah, and you're not interested in Bitcoin, and you're not looking.
No, and Forex. No, thank you. Thank you.
You're not trying to start a franchise and all that stuff. So
no.
Just to yourself, people. Here's what I want you to do: say, "I saw you on Ira's show. I love the information. Can we connect?" Do that, and she will accept it.
It's enough. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Ira. Thank you.
Here we go. We're gonna dance out. I can't dance. In full disclosure.
I can.
Well, that, my friend, is why you are better than me. Thank you so much. It has been awesome to have you on the show.
Thank you.